In this short video, I'm just going to show you how to take your final CAD model that you've got here, your 3D CAD model, and convert that into our planning drawings, which are our dimensioned drawings that are just drawn in 2D. So to start off, obviously make sure you've saved your drawing if you've just finished it, and so on and so forth. And we're going to come up to our file and we're going to choose a new drawing from the design. And when we click that, it's going to start taking this information from this and reformatting it basically. We'll get this window here open up, and the only thing we're going to check is our sheet size, and I want to choose A4 297 by 210. And then I'm going to click OK on that. And when you click OK, there'll be a slight pause. You might get a little sort of spinny wheel like so, as it just transfers and reformats that data. And what will happen is a new page will open up. It will have some details on it which are related to how you've saved your file. And you can see that my object is floating around on the page. Okay. The first thing is to check if you're actually looking at it from the sort of, if you like, the most important angle or the front angle. So you can choose your orientation here, okay, straight away, for what's known as the base view. Okay. Typically the base view is either what you consider the front or the side you'd consider to have the most information on it. Okay, I'm probably going to go for my front view here. And the other thing is just to check the scale. So if you go 1 to 1, what we're looking to see is, can we fit, you want really kind of the biggest you can fit on here, but you need to have space for the two other views. So I think in this case probably half scale is actually about as big as I can go. And I'm going to place my base view here and just press enter. And once I've placed my base view, I can click on that and press P, and P will give me my projected views. So it's going to project a plan view if I pull it out above, okay, or a view from, that would be a view from underneath, but I'm more interested in a plan view, or the side view here. And you'd usually have 3 views. You could have 4. So let's say, for example, if I pull that all the way over here and click that in place, I could come back to this and move it along this line, okay, and make it a little bit nearer. If I start moving up, you'll see that the side view moves up with it, because it's always going to be aligned as a projection. So let's do something like that. I'm going to put those there, and then I'm going to do a select and P, and from the other side, it actually is going to look the same, but there's no harm in showing that. I'm going to put a view from above like so and spread them out a little bit. I don't really want to be placing them really close to each other. And then if I pull this way here, I can come up to the top, and I can actually include in that as well a 3-dimensional view, which is really helpful for people just to make sense of all the different elevations that they're looking at. Final thing that we're going to do is dimension. So to do your dimensioning, you'll need to zoom in, and you'll press your D for dimension tool, and you'll see that as you move around, you can pick up certain sort of points on things or certain ends. So I can come into this here, click at that point there, come across to the other side, click, and then drag down, and that's going to put in the dimension for that overall width. Okay. Now with your dimensions, you don't need to sort of what I call double dimension. So you can, where you put 70 there, you don't need to put 70 on this view as well. It must be 70, it must be the same, because they're a direct projection of each other. I'm going to come up and put my dimension on the top here and say, okay, let's just see if we can show the size of this piece from, if I come to say there, and then come across to there, and that is going to show that that's 50 millimeters across, and so on. Okay, so try not to put more than 2 or 3 dimensions on a particular view, because if you do, it potentially gets a little bit sort of complicated. It's not sure why we've got that box showing around there. Let's just press escape on that. There you are. Get rid of that. So for example, maybe the height I'll show on this one, and so on and so forth. So if I choose that point there and then come down to the now you'll notice I've got a strange dimension. That's because up on the top I actually haven't clicked on the line. I've clicked on something else by mistake. So let's try that again and try and make sure that I'm definitely clicking there. That's doing that again. So again I'm going to get a strange dimension. Let me just try something else then. Let's click on that line and let's click on that line. 94.72. Oh, maybe that is actually the height of it. I guess because it's at an angle rather than being a straight dimension, that might make sense. That might actually be correct. Okay, oops, I didn't mean to delete that. I meant to just escape. There you go. Okay, and also things like holes, for example. We can click on this and we want to just be showing the diameter of that hole, if we can do that. So let's press D and click on, I think if we click on the center there, and there you are. So that's telling us that if I go to the outside, from the center of that hole to the outside, it's sorry, it's not a hole, it's a pin or a little pad, that it is 2.5 mm, which is correct, because I know that when I made those little pads, I made them 5 millimeters across, so it would be 2.5 to the center, and so on. Okay, and once you've gone around the whole thing and dimensioned things up, you've got 2 choices for outputting it. You can come up here and output as a PDF, or if you want, it's just as quick and easy to do your Command Shift 4, select around here, and then you take your dimension drawing across and you come to your slides, go to that yellow slide that says planning diagram. You can probably delete that box, to be honest, and then we're going to get hold of that screenshot and drag that in and place it here. Okay, and that is your planning drawing. We'll expand it out as far as we can, and there's our planning drawing done. Okay, well done.